Hey guys, and welcome back. My name is Miss Danielson, and today we're looking at adding and ordering integer values. Let's get started. First of all, you should know your integer values. They are whole number values, which may have a positive, negative, or zero value. Over here, I've drawn a number line for you, so you can see our integer values in relation to 0. As you can see, as we go up the number line, the numbers get increasingly larger and more positive. Whereas as we go down the number lines, the more negative a value is, the smaller it is. Positive integers may or may not be written with a plus sign in front of them. On this number line, to make it clear, I have put the plus signs, but negative integers must always have the negative sign in front of them. And as you see on my number line, all of the values below 0 have a minus sign in front of them. When adding integers, we start from the first value, and then we count up or down from there. So we're never going to change the sign of the value we're starting with. For example, I'm starting at positive 3, and from there I'm going up 2. So from positive 3, I go up 2. That's positive 3 plus 2, or 3 plus 2, which is 5. For question B, I'm starting at positive 2, and from there I'm going up 2. So that's just 2 plus 2, and that takes me up to positive 4. For question C, now I'm starting at a negative number. I'm starting down here at negative 4. Because I'm adding positive 6, I'm going up 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this time, although I started with a negative number, negative 4, adding a larger positive number to it was big enough to take me out of the negatives and into the positives. Negative 4 plus 6 is positive 2. If you need to think about that another way to try and understand it, you could think that this is positive 6 and minusing 4. Question D. I'm starting with a negative number. I'm starting with negative 5, and I'm adding 3 to that. So I'm going up 3 from there. 1, 2, 3. This time I started with a negative number, and I'm adding a positive number to it, but the positive number that I'm adding is not going to be big enough to take us up into the positives. We can think about this calculation as knowing our answer will be negative, but doing the calculation of 5 minus 3 because it's getting 3 less negative. I start down here at negative 5, I go up 1, 2, 3, that takes me to negative 2. Still a negative number, but not as negative as it was. Note that when you add a negative integer, it's the same thing as subtracting a positive value. So this is where I was talking, if you see more than one sign directly next to each other, sometimes we will replace that double sign, like I have here, plus plus 2, I just put a single plus. Well, in the case of adding a negative, I'll replace a plus minus with a minus. But always remember, the value that we start with, that sign will not change. I'm starting with a positive 3, and I'm adding minus 2 to that. So plus minus 2, I can write that as starting with a positive 3 and subtracting 2 from that. I'm starting up here at positive 3, and I'm going down 1, 2 places. That's going to take me from 3 down to positive 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. For question B, I'm starting at positive 5. I will never change the sign of the value I'm starting with. What I will change is this. I see plus minus, and what that means is I'm starting at positive 5, but then I'm going to go down. Same thing as positive 5, down 7. 5 minus 7. A plus and a minus means subtract. So I start up here at positive 5. I'm going down 7 from there. 7 is a bigger number than 5, so it's going to take me past 0. If I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that takes me to 0. 6, 7. 5 minus 7 is negative 2. Next, I'm starting with a negative number. I'm not going to change the sign of that negative 1. I'm starting down here at negative 1. But then I'm going to add negative 4 to that. Plus and a minus means subtract. This means I'm starting at -1 and I'm going to go down 4 from that. So my value is going to go further in the negative direction. -1, go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. -1 minus 4 is the same thing as -5. Notice that I'm starting with a negative value and continuing to move in the negative direction. My value has gotten more negative. Question D, again, I'm starting with a negative value. I'm starting at -2 and I'm going down 2 from that. So that's the same thing as starting with -2 and subtracting 2 from that. So -2 is here. I go down 1, 2. That takes me more negative down to -4. A lot of people get confused about the subtracting a value and then seeing that their answer seems to be bigger. This is not bigger, this is more negative. It's smaller. It's farther from 0, but in the negative direction. Let's go on to a positive and negative word problem here. Now we're talking about the floors on a hotel. Assume that you're staying at a hotel and the elevator says that the lobby is on floor 0. If the parking garage is 4 floors down from the lobby, what floor is the garage on? Well, here's my lobby, it's at 0, and if I go 4 floors down, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's my parking garage. What is that number, that integer value that is 4 below 0? That would be -4. Now, if you wanted to show this mathematically rather than showing it graphically on this line, we could say that that's the same thing as 0 take away 4. 0 minus 4 is -4. We started at the lobby, which was 0. We subtracted 4. We went 4 floors down. We ended up at floor -4. Next, the swimming pool is 2 floors up from the parking. What floor is the swimming pool on? Well, here's my parking garage. I'll go up 1, 2 floors, and there's my swimming pool. Think about what integer value that would be. That's 2 higher than -4. Remember, that's 2 less negative, and that's going to take me to -2. Again, we can show this mathematically. -4 plus 2 is getting less negative. That's -2. Next, your room is 6 floors up from the parking. Which floor is your room on? Our parking is way down here, remember, at -4. If I go 6 floors up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my room. And what floor is that on? I can count all the way from -4 up to my room, or I have some other points of reference on my number line here now. Look, it's only 2 floors above the lobby. But if I wanted to show this mathematically, I would say that my room is 6 more than the parking. So if I start at the parking, which is at -4, and I add 6 to that, -4 plus 6 will take me up into the positives. It's taking me past 0 because 6 is bigger than 4, up to +2. Lastly, our friend has a room that is 5 floors up from the swimming pool. What floor are they on? Again, let's start at the swimming pool and let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floors up from that. Hey, look, our friend's room is just above our room. What floor would that be? We could work it out from the swimming pool and add 5 to it, or 1 above your room would be floor 3. If we needed to show this mathematically, however, we know that our friend's room is 5 up from the swimming pool. So the swimming pool, which was at -2, let's add 5 to that. -2 plus 5 takes us up to floor +3. Ordering integers is just putting integers either in ascending order, that's from smallest to largest, or descending order, from largest to smallest. You should already know how to order positive integer values. Let's just make sure we're clear on ordering negative integer values. Remember that for negative integer values, the more negative a value is, the smaller it is. So in example 4, let's put these values in ascending order. That's from smallest to largest. And you may want to write that down because you could see this wording on an exam and not be clear on what it means. Ascending means going upwards, so from smallest to biggest. we want to put the smallest value first, which is the most negative value. A lot of people make the mistake of saying 0 is the smallest value here, but look carefully at the signs. These two values are negative. Which one's more negative? Negative 8 is the smallest, then negative 5, then 0. Then looking at the positive numbers, the smallest positive is positive 4, then positive 6, then positive 8. As you do questions like this, you may want to copy the question out, and then as you put them in order, cross out the numbers as you go so that you make sure that you got them all. Okay, so negative 8, negative 5, 0, 4, 6, 8. Now that we understand ordering integer values, try and find a path here from the smallest integer value across to the largest integer value. For example, if I were to start down here at negative 11 and then try and find a number that's bigger than negative 11, so we go from negative 11 up to negative 10, to negative 9, to negative 8, I'm stuck. Negative 11 again is smaller than negative 8. So try and find a path from the smallest integer value to the largest integer value. If you think you found the best route, go ahead and put it down in the comments section. And let's move on to the practice exercise. Go ahead and without a calculator, there's no sense in cheating here, copy these questions down, work out your answers, showing your working, so showing if you're adding or if you're subtracting these integer values. And questions 2 and 3, put these values in order. Read carefully. For question 2, it's ascending order from smallest to largest. And for question 3, it's descending order from largest to smallest. Hit pause and do that now, and when you're ready to take up your answers, hit play and we'll take them up. I hope you had a chance to hit pause, because here come your answers. For question 1a, showing my working, I'll do positive 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3, that's just 2. For question B, I'm going to do positive 2 minus 8. That's going to take me into the negative. So although you might not have put the plus in front of the 2 in question A, you must put the negative in front of this 6. Negative 6. Question C, I'm going to do negative 3 plus 2, and my answer will still be negative. It's negative 1. Question D, I'll do negative 4 minus 1. That will obviously be a negative answer. If I start with a negative and I subtract from it, it's only going to get more negative. That's negative 5. Question E, that's negative 7 plus 4 minus 6. Starting with the first two terms, negative 7 plus 4 will still be negative. That's negative 3 minus 6. And if I start at negative 3 and I subtract 6 from that, again, it's just going to get more negative. That's negative 9. Question F, negative 2 plus 2 minus 8. The negative 2 plus 2 will just make 0. So that's 0 minus 8, which of course will be negative 8. Question G, negative 12 plus 3 minus 8. Negative 12 plus 3 will make that value less negative, but it will still be negative. You might want to try doing 12 minus 3 to see how much less negative it is. That's negative 9 minus 8. And if I start with a negative value and I subtract from it, my answer will become more negative, so that will be the same as 9 plus 8, 17, so negative 17. Next, ordering these values from smallest to largest, that's ascending. Start with the most negative value, that's the smallest value, that's negative 10, then negative 8, then negative 2, then 0, then 3, and 10. So starting from the most negative up through to 0, then starting with the least positive up to the most positive. In question 3, we're going the other way around. In descending order, we're starting with the most positive value, so the highest positive value, and that's positive 35, then positive 28, then positive 2, then starting with the least negative, negative 5, negative 14, and then the most negative is the smallest value, that's negative 37. So how did you do? Hopefully that was all fairly straightforward, although I know some people have problems with their mental calculations. So please let me know if you're one of these people. Use number lines if you find that helps, but do not cheat. Don't go to the calculator. The only way you're going to learn this is to get that practice in. So please let me know if I can help you in any way. Otherwise, well done, keep practicing, and I'll see you soon.